Hello, welcome back to Life After Plus One. I'm Leanne, your podcast host and your single parent mentor and coach. Today's topic is all about confidence. And whether you realize it or not, confidence is one of the biggest things that takes a big hit when you go through a breakup as a single parent. And the reason why that is because when you go through a breakup, one of the first feelings you go through is that you weren't good enough. You failed. You did something wrong. All these questions of self-doubt and doubting you, doubting yourself, these are all things that take a huge hit to your confidence, that leave you questioning yourself, questioning your worth, questioning, are you good enough? What could I have done better? What could I have done differently? Will anyone like me? Will anyone want to date me? All these things go through your head as a result of your breakup when you become a single parent and your confidence has taken a hit. And then just to add salt to the wound, it's not uncommon to see situations where you've got one partner saying to the other person, you'll never be happy without me. You'll never find anyone again. No one's going to want you. And they've just shitted on your confidence even more. So today's episode, we're going to talk about little tips and things that you can do to help bring your confidence back up again.
Welcome to the Life After Plus One podcast, where we turn life's lemons into delightful lemonade. Get ready for inspiring stories, uplifting conversations, and all the tips and tricks to rock your single parent journey with style. I'm your host, Leanne, and it's time to embrace the adventure of Life After Plus One. So let's dive in.
So let's talk confidence and how do you rebuild it again after a breakup, after you're feeling shit, after you're feeling not good enough. You've convinced yourself you're never going to find another partner. No one's going to love you. No one's going to want you. You failed. You're not good enough. You've let down your kids. You've let down everyone else. Now, you may not be thinking all of these things, but there's a good chance you're thinking at least one or two of them. And if you are thinking all of them, then you definitely need this episode because we are going to help you rebuild your confidence. Now, you're not going to have it all back up to scratch after this episode, but it's some tips to help you get there. And if you are wanting some more support at the end, then you know you can reach out to me. I'm your gal to help you work through this. We nut it out. We talk through everything that is not working for you or that is not where it should be in your life. For example, your confidence. And we will unpack it all and work out how to slowly rebuild that again. So in the meantime, though, let's talk today on some signs to help you figure out if your confidence is lacking. And one of the most common ones is not speaking up. You're too scared to say how you feel, what you want, what your expectations are. And that can do or relate to anyone, your ex, your kids, your friends, in your workplace. And it's a very common thing. And you see it a lot in co-parenting relationships where one person will just do what the other parent says and they're too scared to speak up because they just want to keep the other parent happy. They want to keep the peace. They don't want to have any fighting, any arguing, so they don't speak up. That is a huge sign that your confidence is lacking. Now, I do understand that some people believe that speaking up is going to be confrontational. It's going to cause fights. It's going to cause arguments. But it doesn't. If it's done in the right way, where you're showing a little bit of assertiveness, you're showing your boundaries, you're showing your worth, then it's not being confrontational. It's just sharing your thoughts and your opinion. So when you're not speaking up in situations because you're scared of their reaction or you're scared of what they might think of you or what they might say, that's a big sign your confidence is lacking. Another sign is when you keep second guessing yourself and you keep doubting yourself. You keep coming up with these ideas and like, oh no, I can't do that. Oh no, I'm not ready for that. Oh, I'll do that when. I'll do that later. And you just keep doubting your decisions. You don't have confidence to believe in yourself. You don't have confidence to convince yourself that, yeah, I'm worthy of this. Yes, I can do this. So when you keep doubting yourself and second guessing everything that you're doing, you're lacking confidence there. You're lacking belief in yourself. Other signs that will identify whether or not you are lacking confidence. You're feeling anxious. You get really anxious and really nervous. Maybe when it comes to your ex and you're dealing with handover time. Maybe it comes just when they're communicating and they're messaging you and you get very nervous and anxious. That's a sign your confidence is lacking. You're comparing yourself because you feel like you don't feel good enough. So you're constantly comparing yourself to everyone else. You're holding on to anger. You're blaming yourself. Because when you're confident in yourself, you don't feel the need to blame yourself. You understand what happened in the situation. You understand what happened in the breakup. You understand where it went wrong. You can own your part, but you don't need to blame yourself for everything. When you're putting everything on you, on your shoulders, your confidence is lacking. Own your worth, own your part, but also understand that this other person played a role in that too. It's not all on your shoulders. And when you're confident in yourself, you know that you can believe where you went wrong. You can believe in yourself and you can believe that, yeah, I might have made a little mistake or I may have done this wrong, but I don't need to take all the blame for this. And that's an important part in rebuilding your confidence. So how do you build it up again when you're feeling like you can't even speak up in a situation? You're feeling like you can't even share your opinion because you're worried you're going to get shut down, or you're worried you're going to get yelled at, or you're worried that it's just not going to go the way that you had hoped or you have planned. So how do you build that up again? Okay, let's break down some points here. First step, focus on the small wins. And we're in a society these days where everyone just looks at the big picture. Everyone just wants it, the end game. I want this big home. I want this big holiday. I want the best relationship. I want this bank balance. But you're not focusing on the small little steps you've got to take to actually get there. Like you're not just going to get a big home. You've got to do things to get you there. For example, save money. Maybe work harder, work more. There's lots of things. Maybe invest. Look into loans. It's not just going to pop up in your lap. I mean, a house is going to pop up in your lap. But you get what I'm saying here. You need to do little things along the way to help get you there. Same with your confidence. It's not just automatically going to boom, one day you're all of a sudden confident again. It's about taking those little steps to help get you there. So when you are wanting to build your confidence, look at the little things that you're doing along the way and recognize that. It might be, for example, actually saying no in a situation that you would normally say yes to. It might be actually speaking up with your ex when they've done something that you don't like and saying, hold on, I don't like that. That's not okay. We don't do that. Or no, we don't speak like that around the kids. Speaking up and saying how you feel in a situation. It might actually be saying when someone says, hey, how you going? You might be, actually, you know what? I don't feel too good today. Can we have a chat? Instead of just saying, I'm okay. I'm good, thanks. Because that's what most people do, isn't it? Well, I know here in Australia we do. We sweep things under the carpet. We're very good at doing that, us Aussies. We just pretend like everything's fine. We're good. I'm okay. No problems here. She'll be right. That good old Aussie saying, she'll be right. But you're not. You know, deep down, you're not. You're just pretending like everything is fine. So when you want to start to build your confidence, speak up. Say, actually, no, I'm not fine. Start recognizing when you're doing these things, little things that are a little bit different to what you normally do. When you start handling things a little bit differently, that's how you start to build your confidence. You don't just sit there and go, well, I can't speak in a room of 1,000 people, so my confidence is shit. Do little things. Maybe you are planning to do a big speaking event, speak in front of 2 or 3 people, then slowly increase it. It's all about doing little things at a time. So for example, when it comes to your ex, it might be instead of actually just saying something to their face, you might be able to say something in a message. Start it that way. Use my texting guide if you're unsure how to approach that. It starts with the little steps that you do. Recognize that. Go, wow, you know what? That felt good. I'm glad I actually shut that down. I'm glad I said, no, sorry, I can't change our weekends. Speaking up for yourself and recognize these little steps that you're doing differently along the way is how you build your confidence. Because if you don't notice that, then you don't notice that you're doing anything different and you've got nothing to be proud of. Be proud of the little things that you're doing because that's all part of your growth. When you start learning to handle things differently, when you start learning to grow and change the way you handle certain situations, that's growth, that's healing. So recognize that And that is how you can start to build your confidence. Another big step, stop seeking approval from everybody else and just stay in your lane. I'm a big believer in that little quote there. Stay in your lane. You don't need to focus on what your neighbors are doing, what your work colleagues are doing, what your mates are doing, or whoever else. Focus on you. Everyone is at a different place in their life. You can't keep comparing yourself. You can't keep wanting approval from other people. I mean, yes, approval and recognition is nice, but you see it on social media as well, and it's just gone crazy there where people post the most ridiculous comments, stupid memes, stupid things where they're just trying to trigger people. And you know the motive behind that is more often than not just to get likes and to get that post for them recognized. And that's their way of getting recognition and being recognized and getting likes. And it is a very common thing. People get excited by how many likes and how many shares and how many comments. That's not what makes you a good person, especially when that post is quite toxic and it's done just to stir the pot. When you're constantly seeking approval from everyone else, you're showing the world that you are lacking confidence in yourself, because when you know you're confident, when you know how good you are, when you know you don't need to get that constant approval from everyone else, you know you believe in yourself. You've got the confidence to say, you know what, I look good. Yep, I like what I'm wearing today. Or yes, what I just did then was amazing and I don't need to get approval. I don't need to get 50 likes. I don't need to have 10,000 followers. I know what I'm doing is great. Say, for example, like what I do with my social media. I don't care if I put a post up and it gets 1 like. I don't care if I put a post up and it gets 1,000 likes, because it's happened. I've got posts that maybe gets 1 or 2 likes. I get posts that have had 2,000 likes. It doesn't matter for me. I mean, yeah, it's great because it gets you more reach and it gets you more into more people's eyes and it puts your page out there in front of more people. But for me, I'm all about just focusing on being me, focusing on being authentic, focusing on what I enjoy doing, which is talking about this and inspiring all my fellow single parents. It's not about how many likes, how many follows, how many comments, how many shares. It's about how many people are actually seeing what I do and are actually getting the right support that they're needing, that are actually getting motivated and feeling supported and encouraged by what I'm putting out there. And that's the goal with what I do. And when you're constantly seeking approval, you're constantly seeking recognition, ask yourself, why don't you believe enough in yourself to know that you're good enough? You don't need to constantly seek it from others. Like I said, yes, it is nice. It is nice to be recognized. It is nice to get compliments, but you don't need to be constantly seeking it from others. And when you are, you're lacking your confidence. You're lacking that belief in yourself. Because when you have got that confidence, you know you can say, yep, what I'm doing is amazing. What I'm doing at Life After Plus One is amazing. And I don't mind if I get 1 like. I don't mind if I don't get any new follows this week. It's all about the people that I'm putting it out there to are getting that right information and support that they need for where they're at. And with whatever you're doing in your life, that's what your focus needs to be. Believing in yourself and believing that what you're doing is the right thing. And that's what it's about. Not constantly seeking outside validation. And that all stems to having self-trust, having that belief in yourself. When you believe in yourself, when you trust in yourself, you have confidence in yourself. Another way to build your confidence is to focus on your self-worth. Build your self-worth up again. And to do that, it's a thing that everyone always says and people go, oh yeah, do things that make you happy, do things that light you up. But yes, there's so much truth behind that. Do things that light you up, because when you feel good in yourself, you do feel more confident. You do feel happier. When you feel good, you don't feel the need to constantly seek outside validation. When you feel good in yourself, you're usually more confident in yourself and trusting in the decisions you make. You don't feel like you have to keep asking other people, oh, what do you think of this? Should I do this? I mean, it's great to get opinions from friends and family, but when you're constantly depending on it, when you're not able to make your own choices and your own decisions because you're constantly doubting yourself, that's a sign you really need to build your confidence up again. And to do that, focus on your self-worth. Focus on doing things that light you up. And I can guarantee you now, all those people that are out there that are really struggling with their confidence, there's probably a large portion of you that are not doing anything for you. You're doing things for your kids, for your family, for your friends. You're maybe tiptoeing around for your ex, but what are you doing for yourself? Focusing on your self-worth, focusing on things that you actually enjoy doing is ways that you can slowly build your confidence. Another big thing, and I cannot emphasize this enough, surround yourself with the right people. When you're constantly around negative people that just suck the energy out of you, you are going to feel like that yourself. If you are constantly around people that are negative and bitter and complaining and doubting themselves and doubting life and down on everything, you will start sucking up that energy and you will start feeling like that. I guarantee if you go out with someone like that for a whole day, you'll come home feeling like you are carrying a house on your shoulders. You'll be so weighed down. It's like, fuck, that was a lot. But when you go out with people that make you feel good, you're laughing, you're enjoying yourself, you're feeling uplifted, you come home and you're like, wow, that was a great catch up. I really enjoyed that. And that's what it's about, surrounding yourself with people that make you feel good and limit contact with those people that just suck the life out of you. Because you cannot build your confidence when you're around people that are just so negative and bitter. And quite often, those are the people that are jealous of people or envious of people that are doing good because they are doubting themselves so much that they start hating on everyone else because they think to themselves, well, I can't do it. So who do they think they are? Why do they think they're so good? Why do they think they can do that? Look at them with all that money. Look at them with that flashy car. Look at them with that big home. That is someone that's being negative and jealous and envious. And it shows that you're lacking confidence if you're behaving that way. Because if you're feeling good in yourself and you're confident in yourself, you know that, you know what, I can do that too. I can work hard and get a big house like that. I can work hard and get a nice car like that. Now, I don't want to sound all superficial and make life all about big homes and fancy cars because it's not what it's about. But I'm just throwing that out there as an example. And you see that a lot where people get envious of people that have more instead of being happy and supportive. You want to be around people that uplift you and be happy for you when you're doing good, not suck the life out of you and make you feel shit. And those people that make you feel shit are the ones that are lacking confidence because they don't believe in themselves that they can do it. Surround yourself with people that make you feel good. And another big thing, watch your self-talk. Watch the way you talk. When you're thinking to yourself or when you're with a group of friends or even with your kids and you say something like, oh no, I can't do that, or oh no, I won't look good in that, or oh, I shouldn't do that. Stop yourself. Stop being so negative. Change that negative talk. That is a big factor of where your confidence is lacking because you're doubting yourself. You're convincing yourself that you can't do it. You're convincing yourself that it won't look good. It's not possible. I'll never be able to have that. I can't do that. Stop the negative self-talk and change it to something positive. Yeah, I can do that. Yes, I will look good in that. And it was quite funny. Like every time I go out somewhere, because it's just me and my daughter here, I always ask my daughter her opinion on my outfit. I mean, she's 12. She's at that age now where she gives her opinion anyway. But I did ask her one time and there was just something that I was wearing. I wasn't sure how I felt. And then she gave me a comment. She didn't like it. But then I got a little bit offended. And then I'm like, actually, no, you know what? I do like this and I am going to wear it. And I did feel I didn't feel very comfortable weight-wise in what I was wearing on this day. But then I stopped and thought to myself, you know what? I don't care. I don't care. I'm not going out to impress anyone. I actually like what I'm wearing. I feel good in myself. And if someone's going to judge me because of the way I look in what I'm wearing, then I don't care. I don't need to worry about them. And that's what it's about, being confident in yourself. You can walk into a room and have two people wearing the exact same dress, but one person can be pulling it off so much better. Do you know why? Because they've got the confidence in themselves. They've walked in with their shoulders back, their head held high, and they're owning it. That's what it's about, being confident in yourself and owning your choices. So it's important to remember, confidence isn't about having a perfect life or having it all together. It's just about owning it in yourself, knowing that you deserve what you want, knowing that you deserve something better than where you are now, knowing that you don't deserve to be treated that way. It's about believing in yourself. And you're not just going to have it all figured out overnight, or you're not going to have that confidence at a level that you want straight away. It takes steps. It takes small little baby steps to really get you to a place where you can believe in yourself. You can walk into a room all on your own and not worry what anyone else is going to think or say. You can take yourself out for lunch and not be scared or worried that people are going to judge you because you're just there on your own. You can go and do things on your own. You can go and do things just you and the kids, and you have more confidence in yourself. I know a lot of people that won't go on holidays with just them and the kids because they're scared. It's a big move. It's a big decision. You're taking it all on your own. But when you're confident in yourself, you can do all these big things. Confidence is all about that. You make better decisions because you're more trusting in yourself. You're believing in yourself. And when you are confident in yourself, when you do believe in yourself, you have a lot less issues with your ex because you're not reacting to the drama. Why? Because you don't care as much. You're focusing on what's important to you because you're confident in your decisions. You're confident that if they say something negative about you, or if they say something that triggers you, or if they say something that you don't agree with, you don't let it bother you because you're confident in yourself. You know that doesn't mean anything to me anymore. That's just a reflection of them, not me. You're not constantly fighting for validation. You're not constantly fighting for explanations. You're not constantly fighting for an apology. Why? Because you believe in yourself. You believe that no matter what they say or do doesn't bother you anymore. And that's where all that confidence comes from. It's about doing these steps that I just went through and slowly recognizing that you're starting to handle things differently. You're starting to believe in yourself. You're starting to stop doubting yourself as much. And then you start to recognize that the conflict with your ex starts to drift away because you're not constantly fighting with them because you don't need to, because you're confident in yourself that you don't need to engage in that drama. You're confident in yourself knowing that even if they do talk badly about you, it doesn't bother you because you know that's not true and you don't need to fight with that. Things in your life get so much easier when you're more confident in yourself, when you believe in yourself. And it all starts with those steps that I just mentioned. Taking those small wins, really focusing on those small wins. When you do something, recognize it. Take yourself out for a coffee if that's not something you do. If you want to start going out on your own, start small. Do the coffee. Go for a lunch. Go for a breakfast. And then slowly start doing it more and more, and it gets more comfortable and it gets easier. Same with when you're going back into the dating world. You want to date, but maybe you're not confident in yourself. You're not believing in yourself. Start doing little things that can get you ready for it, such as slowly increasing your confidence. So when a relationship or when you're out in the dating world and it doesn't go the way you'd hoped, when it does end, you don't get so worked up about it because you're okay to accept that, okay, that wasn't my person. But when you're not confident in yourself, you start questioning, well, why didn't they like me? Why didn't they call me again? Why didn't they want to keep going out with me? Was I not good enough? What did I do wrong? But when you're confident in yourself, you don't have these questions constantly stewing in your head. You don't lose sleep over it. You don't let it impact your life. You're like, okay, that person wasn't for me. There's someone else out there. I'm willing to keep trying. And you don't completely give up hope, and you don't completely lose yourself and let it affect your confidence even more because that one person didn't like you or that one person wasn't the right person for you. And that's all about slowly building your confidence. Stop seeking approval from others. You need approval from yourself. You need to be happy with what you're doing. You need to be happy with where you're going. You need to be happy with how you look. And own it. Seek approval from yourself, not from others. Have that trust in yourself. Believe in yourself. When you make a decision, don't keep going, oh, I don't know, maybe I should ask them, and then I'll ask them. And you see it a lot. People, they're going through a situation, or they might be going through a breakup, and they'll go speak to Jane, and then they'll go speak to Sarah, and then they'll go speak to Janet, and then they'll go speak to Michelle, and they'll go speak to Nadia. And then they get all their opinions from them of what they should do because they're not believing in themselves. They're not believing in their decision. They're not believing in what they're doing. And just like all those people that run to social media and ask their questions and ask their advice, which there's nothing wrong with that. If, depending on the situation though, I suppose, I think sometimes some questions shouldn't be asked on social media, but sometimes you've just got to ask, why don't you believe in the decision yourself? Why can't you trust yourself to make that decision? And that's quite often why people do this, because they don't have that confidence in themselves. They don't believe themselves that they'll make that right decision. Now, I totally get it's great to get advice and a bit of support, but you do get some serial posters out there that are constantly asking for advice because they don't believe in themselves to make the right decisions. And that shows that they're lacking that confidence in themselves. So have that self-trust, believe in yourself, surround yourself with people that make you feel good, that aren't going to leave you constantly doubting yourself. And most importantly, watch the way you talk to yourself. When you start saying negative things, whether it's in your head or out aloud, to your ex, to your kids, to your friends, to your family, stop yourself and go, oh, nope, I'm not talking like that to myself. Stop being your own worst enemy. Start loving yourself. And some people might think that sounds crazy, but if you don't love yourself, how is somebody else going to love you? Own who you are. Be proud of who you are. This is your journey. You don't need to compare it to anyone else. You don't need to compete with anyone else. And that's the thing. So many people out there these days are just out to compete. I've got to be better than them. Got to have something nicer than them. Got to do more than them. The only person you need to compete with is yourself. Focus on being a better version of yourself. Focus on doing something better for you, for your kids, to make your life a fun one. Your life is not about doing something better than your neighbors or doing something better than your family or doing something better than your friends. Your life is about doing what you enjoy. Not about competing, not about comparing, not about constantly seeking recognition. Because when you believe in yourself and you have that confidence in yourself, you don't need to constantly get it from outside sources, because you know what you're doing is right. And that's how you slowly build your confidence. It starts with believing in yourself. Confidence affects everything in your life. It really does. It has such an impact on everything. Your decisions, your relationships, where you go, what you do. For example, like on weekends, your kids might be at their other parents and you think, I'm just going to stay home because I'm not confident enough to go out and meet new people. I'm not confident enough to go out on my own, or I'm not confident enough to go out on a date. So I'll just stay home. So it's affecting your decisions. It's affecting your life and what you're doing because you're not confident in yourself. You're not believing in yourself. Your confidence has such a huge impact on your life. And for all those people that hate on all those wealthy and successful people that you see on social media, it's why are they feeling the need to hate on them? Because they have more money. And that all comes down to a jealousy thing. But the reason why they're hating on them, it's like putting a mirror up to them. And it's like showing them what they haven't done with their life. And do you know why they haven't done it? Because they're not confident in themselves to put themselves out there. It's like everyone hates Kim Kardashian, but I'm just going to say it. I think she's a freaking amazing businesswoman. I really do. And there are so many people out there that will think completely opposite to me. But you do not become as successful as she has by being an idiot. I can tell you that now. She is amazing at what she does in business. And she probably does have a massive, huge team behind her helping her out. But at the end of the day, her legal background, her businesses, in her activewear, her beauty range, and whatever else she's got, she has done everything. She's got her hands everywhere, and she's constantly out there giving things a go. And that's what confidence is about. People don't like people that put a mirror up to them that shows them what they haven't done in life. And they're the ones that don't have the confidence to say, I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to do this. I'm going to try this. So stop hating on people because they're actually willing to have the confidence to try things, and actually turn that around and say, I'm going to try it. I'm going to do it. Be confident in yourself. So instead of judging people for wanting to do it themselves and for wanting to get out there and make the most out of life, do it yourself. No more judging. Start doing. Start being confident in yourself and believing in yourself that you can do that. And at the end of the day, what is the worst that can happen. And that is the thing. So many people are scared to put themselves out there because they're lacking that confidence. But realistically, what is the worst that can happen? Maybe a no, maybe you get declined for that date, maybe you don't get that job, maybe you don't get that pay rise. Whatever the outcome is it going to be the end of the world? Does it mean you need to completely stop your life because you've put yourself out there and you got to know? Because I can promise you now, any successful person that's put themselves out there and had the confidence to get out there and keep trying, they've probably had more no's than what you can even think of. But you just don't see that side of them. You don't hear about the no's. You hear about all the good stuff. You hear about all the positive stuff. But everyone that's put themselves out there and gone big and done really big successful things, they've had a lot of no's and a lot of doors closed in their face to help them get there. They've just decided that they're not going to give up. They're going to keep going and achieve what they want. And that's the confidence that you need. You don't give up when you get a no. You don't give up when you get one door closed on you. You don't give up because your one relationship ended with your kid's other parent. That's a step in your journey. You keep going. You step back and reflect, okay, what do I want out of my life? What do I want to achieve? What do I want to do? And you keep going until you get it. That's how you get your confidence back. You stop quitting. You don't need to quit. You believe in yourself. And that's what it's about. So if you do want a bit more of a nudge to really get you out there and to really help you with your confidence, because this is it. It's the lack of confidence that stops people from leaving a toxic relationship because they don't believe in themselves. They don't believe that they'll be okay on the other side. It's the lack of confidence that make people fall into relationships that they can see are covered with red flags, but they just think, oh, I'm not going to find anyone else, or I don't want to do this, or I don't want to have to go back into the dating world, so I'll just stick with this person. But if you had that confidence in yourself, you wouldn't be doing that. It's the lack of confidence that make people have these unhealthy relationships with their ex. I mean, there's more to it than that, but quite often that plays a huge part of it because you're constantly fighting for that apology. You're constantly fighting for that approval. You're constantly fighting for that acknowledgement as to why the relationship ended that you're not going to get. Because if you had that confidence in yourself, you wouldn't care. Be like, okay, whatever, it's done. I'm moving on with my life. I'm going to keep going. I'm not stopping now. And it's the same with jobs. I've spoken to so many people, not just in my line of work, but in life in general. They've spoken to me about wanting to start a business, but they're refusing to, or they've stopped themselves because they're scared. And they're scared because they don't believe in themselves. And they don't believe in themselves because they don't have the confidence in themselves. Your confidence affects everything you do. So if you are wanting some more support with your confidence, then let's chat. Because I can help you with that. If you're wanting to start a business, let's chat. I've done that. I've been in business myself for, nearly 12 years now. I've sold my first business off and now I'm here doing something I'm more passionate about. I know everything there is to know about business. If you're wanting help with the confidence to get out of a relationship that's not lighting you up, if you're wanting help to build friendships that are not lighting you up, if you're wanting help to start traveling as a single parent but you don't have the confidence to do it, if you're wanting help with anything that's holding you back because you don't have the confidence to do it, then let's speak. Because you need to get that confidence back up. And how you get that life that you truly want is by having that confidence and that belief in yourself. And that's where it all starts. So don't forget, if you are wanting that, jump onto my show notes. There is a free intro chat there. Jump on and grab it while you can, because I think as I've mentioned previously, I am going to look at cutting them down and just putting them on a wait list and limiting those intro calls because there are a huge demand for them at the moment. So if you want one, get in quick because I don't know how much longer I will keep them around for. So head down to the show notes in this episode and grab yourself a free intro session whilst they're still available. All in the show notes there. If you have any other questions, feel free to DM me, send me a message. I will respond. I promise you, I do get back to all messages. And guys, I really hope you got something from this episode. I really do. And if you do or did get something from this episode, then share it. Get it out there. Let's get the word out there in our single parent community and let's get all our single parent friends feeling more motivated. And instead of feeling like they've got to hate a whole gender or hate life or hate dating and completely give up on dating. It's not about giving up on anything. It's not about hating a whole gender. It's not about thinking that your life has come to an end. It's about realizing this is a part of my life Now, how am I going to make the next part of my life even more amazing? That's what it's about. All right, guys, that's it from me. Thank you, everyone, and get your confidence up. It's time to build your confidence and live your best life. Thank you all, everyone, and until next week, I'll be in your ears then.
Thank you for joining us on the Life After Plus One podcast. If you loved what you heard today and looking for some further support, then jump onto our website, lifeafterplusone.com. Plus, don't forget to check out our Instagram page for further resources and inspo. You can find all the links in the show notes. And remember, you're not alone on this path. I'm looking forward to seeing you on the next episode. And in the meantime, keep thriving, keep growing, and keep exploring your amazing life after plus one.